Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Kirti Sophia Panachan, and in today's session, we'll be learning about The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. And this is part 1. The story of Anne Frank has inspired generations of readers for its candid and poignant description of her personal life as well as the political climate of her times. Candid means truthful, and poignant means it has a sense of sadness. Written in the backdrop of the Second World War, her diary entries are an incisive commentary on one of the most shocking atrocities committed against humanity under Hitler's regime. Incisive means direct, and atrocities means cruel, and regime means rule. So Anne Frank was a victim of Hitler's cruel rule, and she died due to the Holocaust that happened during the time of Hitler. She was born on 12th June 1929, and she was a German Dutch diarist of Jewish heritage. And we could see that Anne Frank is one of the most discussed Jewish victims of the Holocaust. She gained fame posthumously, that means after her death, with the publication of The Diary of a Young Girl in 1947. She documents her life in hiding from 1942 to 1944 during the German occupation of the Netherlands in World War II. Anne Frank wrote The Diary of a Young Girl originally in Dutch. It was translated into 70 languages with over 30 million copies sold. She was a precocious child endowed with perseverance, resilience, and courage. In this, precocious means a child who has developed her abilities at a very young age. She has equipped with herself with a lot of abilities at a very young age. And perseverance means continued effort to do or achieve something despite the difficulties. So Anne Frank tried to achieve a lot of things even though she was living under a lot of pressure and discomfort. And the word resilience means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or tough times. So, likewise, Anne Frank was a victim of the Holocaust, and she has dealt a lot of troubles while Hitler was ruling Germany, and that actually helped her to develop a capacity to recover from the difficulties that she was going through. She had a strong urge to study. Her ambition was to become a journalist. Anne and her elder sister Margot were smart and studious. Her resolve, I need to have something besides a husband and children to devote myself to. I want to go on living after my death shows her maturity beyond her age. So, in this quote, we could see that Anne Frank was a person or a little girl who was extremely ambitious, and she had a strong desire to live even after her death. She didn't want to lead a normal life with just living with her husband and having a couple of kids, but instead she wanted herself to be known to the world. And we could also see that she wanted to become a journalist, and her sister and herself was extremely smart and studious in their studies. Her diaries are a testimony to the persecution and genocide of Jews during Hitler's regime. The diary entries reveal her conflicting moods ranging from faith and optimism in the wake of adversity to despair and dejection. They shed light on not just her personal issues like the problems of growing up, but also on the political turbulence of the time in which she lived. So let's look at the meaning of certain words in these lines. So the first word is persecution. Persecution means oppression towards a certain segment of people. These people will be oppressed by the name of race or politics or religious beliefs. And in this segment, we could see that the Jewish people were oppressed by Hitler. Then another word is genocide. Yeah, genocide means the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying the nation or group. So here, Hitler wanted to kill or he wanted to delete all the Jewish people from the world. He considered Jewish people as people who were not supposed to be in this world. They were not of a high race or even a high ethnic class of people, and he wanted them to be erased from the world. So, what he did is that he massacred a large number of people, and that process is known as genocide. Then the next word is despair. Despair, I guess we all know, it is the complete loss or absence of hope. So Anne Frank was a person who lived during the period of Hitler, and she had to live in hiding. She was not supposed to go out, or she was unable to see the world or enjoy the world. And she was restricted within the four walls of a house. And this inculcated within her a lot of despair and dejection. She completely lost hope, and she was completely dejected. Dejected means a sad and depressed state. She was in a very low spirited phase of her life, since she was unable to enjoy the happiness of the world. Then we could see the next word is turbulent. Turbulent means characterized by conflict, disorder, or confusion, a situation which is not stable or calm. So, Anne Frank, in her diaries, addresses the personal issues that she had faced while growing up, and she has also expressed about the political problems that was happening during the time she lived. Moving on, she is candid in her discussion of her growth, puberty, the crushes she had, and her disillusionment with her mother. So, in her diary entries, she discusses openly, because since it's a diary, we all write diaries and we are quite open in what we write in a diary. It is supposed to be seen only by us. So, likewise, Anne Frank in her diaries wrote very openly about her growth, her puberty, and about the crushes she had in other boys, and her disillusionment with her mother. She did not have a very good relationship with her mother, and that was also written in her diary. After her death, prior to the publication of the diary, her father attempted to delete the portions in which she frankly disclosed matters of her sexuality and the conflict between her parents. So, uh, the diary by Anne Frank was found out by her father, Otto Frank. And Otto Frank was the person who tried to publish this diary, even though he had to face a lot of accusation regarding the authenticity of the diary, because people believed that this diary was not written by a young girl, it was not by his daughter. But after a lot of legal battle, he won the fight, and he was able to convince people that this diary was actually written by his daughter. And what he did is that while going through the diary, he saw certain portions in which Anne has deliberately discussed about the conflicts of her parents and also about her sexuality. And Otto Frank was not willing to publish those areas or include or even show these areas to publishers. So what he did is that he tried to delete or tear off or just scrap off those pages in which she has deliberately written or openly discussed about her sexuality and about her parents. And even after all this trouble, Otto Frank was able to convince the publishers, and that is the reason why we are all able to read the diary of Anne Frank at this moment. Spending 2 years in a dingy apartment, her diaries discuss the trauma of confinement, her craving for freedom, and her plans for life after the attainment of freedom. However, she makes it clear that it is better to live such a vegetative life than get caught. So Anne Frank had to live in a dingy apartment. Dingy means very dirty and very closed, confined apartment. And her diary entries discuss about her life in that apartment without seeing the outer world and spending her life with or seeing only her parents and sister, nobody else she's acquainted to. And she craves for freedom, and she has a dream that after all these problems she will attain freedom, and that freedom will give her better life, and she is planning a life after her freedom. And she also makes it extremely clear that it is at this moment it is better to live this vegetative life, that is an ideal life without seeing anybody, without getting caught in this dingy apartment, than getting caught by the soldiers or Gestapo or the policeman by Hitler. So she understands the political problems that is happening around her, and she's totally aware that if she gets caught, she will not have freedom, or her life will be in danger. So I hope today's session was fruitful for you all. If you like this video, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and share this video with students who love to learn. So that's all for today. We'll see you again in the next session. Bye bye.